here, a return subscriber. Thank you so much for the love. So, want to speak about food. Food is a portal. Food is a gateway to many things. First of all, you have heard that food is energy, and we know energy is the ability to do work. So, want to learn what food can achieve. What is it able to do? One, it can give sustenance. You see, like those prophets of the Lord, there were 100 of them. Obadiah, yeah, hid them in groups of 50s in a cave, and he fed them for sustenance. Look at someone like Elijah. Prophet Elijah was sustained by to go and walk through the holy mountain for 40 days after he had been fed by an angel on water and bread. Also, it's worth noting that he was also fed before the story about meeting the Sarafat woman. He was fed by ravens. These ravens would bring bread and meat. Then you'll get water from the brook. That is what sustained him during that drought. So, for sustenance. Number two, food is able to nourish. Food is able to nourish. Look at people like John the Baptist. He used to preach in the wilderness, and what nourished him so that he could even have energy to preach was the fact that there was that wild honey and locust. That is what he fed on. And remember, even his cloth was made up of camel hair, so probably a camel had been slaughtered so that he could get that piece of cloth. So those are the main things that food is used for, like it can achieve. So food as a portal, it can be used as a gateway to many things, both positive and negative. So want to start with the positive things before we end with the negative, and you make a resolution how you're going to use food. So you've had that food is used as a means of sealing deals. Yeah, it's a sealant of covenants. Look at people who made even covenants with God. There was animals that were slaughtered. There could be burnt offerings in form of grains. Yeah, so that is one thing. So even in most cultures, like in the African culture, you could find that before anything was done, there was eating of meals, though in some it was after. So it really depends with cultures. Yeah, so for example, you want to go and do a wedding. So the bridegrooms will come to the bride's place and they will eat. Yeah, and like in my culture, the Kisi culture, you'll find there was ugali that was to be shared. Yeah, even after the wedding, there will still be ugali that is put in a special basket known as aka. So yeah, that is one of the things that meals were meant for. Another thing is that meals were meant to bring unity. Yeah, so right from the production of food, like you'll find, like in my things like weeding of the millet, because it was millet that was the main crop. You'll find women will come together, and maybe they come to Kerubo's farm. Tomorrow we are going to Kwambokas, tomorrow we are going to Moraz, like that, like that. So there was that unity, and we say that united we stand, divided we fall. So through food production, the value of unity was instilled. Okay, another thing about food is that it can be used as a means of communication. You want to communicate, you can use food. Maybe you want to tell someone you love them. Yeah, you can prepare them their special dish. You understand? Maybe a guest has come. That is when you will find the finest of maybe your produce and prepare them the special dish. Yeah. And we see this even in the Bible. Someone like Abraham, there was a time there were some angels that were passing by as he was at his tent. Then he saw them and was like, you come to my place, I beseech you, so that you can be fed at least, and you can then go thereafter. And the beautiful thing about that is that it was a source of blessing. It's after those angels had eaten, the men of God, that they were given the promise that Sarah was going to bear a son. Okay, so you can see, had Abraham decided not to feed the angels, he would have missed out on that blessing. And we see that 9 months later, indeed, Sarah bore a child, despite the fact that she was old. Okay, so you can see these stories. Even someone like Lot, he was spared because he was able to feed the two men. Same case to Samson's parents. They got to invite the visitors. Through hospitality, they were promised a son. So you can see how food is a powerful way to tap into infinite blessings, divine blessings beyond measure. Look at the woman at Zarephath. The widow literally was picking some firewood so that she would make the final meal for herself and her son. And you find Prophet Elijah is like, I pray that you bring me some water, and at the same time, please make me some bread. And the woman is like, I swear by the living God, I just only have some oil and bread, that some flour that we're going to use. Then it will sustain us as we wait for death. And when you read that conversation, you realize that Elijah told her that her flour and oil were not to cease until the famine was over. So you can see how beautiful it is to practice hospitality. Okay, I'm not in my specs. So where are you from? I'm from Kenya. Interesting. Yeah, so food. Yeah, it is very interesting to learn about these gorgeous secrets. Yeah. So you can see food being a source of blessings. So I was talking about some of the, like, let's say you're in Kenya and you're moving towards Mombasa, or from Mombasa to Nairobi. There's a Makindu Sikh temple, yeah, that is in Makueni County, and you find there's food that is offered free of charge. So when we can literally use food as a means of relieving people their struggle. You understand? Yeah, that's why even as Ramadan is coming, you'll find during Eid, people will just come together and they eat dates. You even get to experience different sorts of food. So food can be used to bring that connection, and also as a way of practicing religion. That is true religion. You cannot see your neighbor starving while you have something, so it's good to share together. Aha, mambo poa Hussein. Unaongea Kiswahili? Naongea Kiswahili. Actually mimi ni mwalimu wa Kiswahili na jiografia. Natumia tu Kiswahili so that I can reach a larger audience. Naam, karibu. Salaam alaikum. Yeah, so another thing about food is that it can be used. Nairobi, karibu. Yeah, sahii niko maeneo ya Nyanza. Yeah, so as I was saying, uh, food can also be used as a means of skincare, and I believe we know that you can use things like honey for your hair because it's a for your skin, right? It's a humectant, so because of that moisture that it contains, you can use it. A lot of things, actually, even spices like turmeric, I've used that. That was like in 2021. I used to drink water with turmeric. My health improved significantly. So yeah, for skincare, we can also use food. Actually, I think that's why food has become extremely expensive of late, because it is a raw material in the cosmetic industry, and the cosmetic industry is a booming one. You understand? And even when you look online, you'll find that most of the botanical shops, uh, they try to use food products, because why should you apply something that you cannot eat? So that's based on that argument. That's why people are using things that are organic. Things that you're able to consume orally is what you get to apply, because the skin being the largest organ, definitely, and it gets to absorb literally whatever you apply it. It's good that you apply things that are nourishing. Okay, so that's why we get to use things like coconut, castor, macadamia oil, name them. Yeah, because they are even consumable orally, and they have benefits. Yeah, look at someone like King Hezekiah. When he was sick, uh, what was used to heal his boil was figs. Figs. Uh, so they made a paste and it was applied. So you can see how food can be used in skincare as well as healing of diseases. And all these things were given to us free of charge. You know, if you don't make your food medicine, then medicine will become your food. So let's learn to use food uh, as medicine. You see, the herbs, the grains that have been given to us, let's delight in them. Okay, let me read your comments. You're so intelligent. Thank you. Have subscribed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah, we give glory to God. Yeah, okay. So food is significant as far as skincare is concerned, even for hair care. Like when I was growing up, you'll find people using the eggs, though I realize now that eggs, yeah, in as much as they have that protein content, sometimes it has big molecules that cannot penetrate. So perhaps you can use things like you get to blend it so that it can enter. um I have also tried to use things like bone broth, supu ya mifupa. mm. Yeah, so it's really delicious. You can see how your skin becomes supple, your hair becomes strengthened. You have seen even people applying food masks, things like avocado mask on the hair. It works. Like during the COVID period, we were using food, rice water, rose water, rosemary water to apply on hair, and it became so nice. Like even when you try to use things like what is its name, stinging nettle, then you boil it, then after it has cooled, you apply on your hair. mm, the hair starts to darken. So you can see how nature is so generous to ensure that we have healthy hair, healthy skin, etc. Another thing about how food is important is that it helps to showcase our culture. Like, I love the Swahili culture for me, because you find amazing foods, mabajia, pilau, like just someone converting ordinary rice into various things like fried rice, biryani, alafu iko na rojo la biryani there. Oh, My goodness, it's so so delicious. Like among the Nubians, you'll find they have things. Okay, what is that name? I've forgotten. But for Ethiopians, you'll find things like Anjera. So they speak about their culture, even the way in which they make that food makes you want to know more about them. It just keeps you glued. Yeah. Another thing is that food is used as a portal to memories. Yeah. And I believe all of us have experienced this. Like for me, I usually miss my grandmother's meal. Oh, even if it's just ordinary sukuma wiki, aeke tu viazi huko, haina mafuta, haina kitungu, just like that. It's so delicious. Like a time when I'm far away from home, like when I was in Malindi and Machakos, the food that I used to crave for, maziwa mala, ama rorano, vitunguu, spring onions. You know, kwanza spring onions in beans are, even the aroma, you see, avocados. I just missed home. So food has a way of reminding us of subtle things. Mm. Sometimes you can even feel some kaharufu and you're like, you don't want it to end because it reminds you of good things. However, it can also remind you of bad things. So it depends. Because, for example, for someone who used to eat githeri every day, maybe an uji or whatever food that was common for them that was available, they could have a trauma response to it. And asikia tu harufu ya githeri ako like, you become sick because ulikula ikakutoka. Yeah. So another thing is that food can be used for education purposes. What do I mean? Food is a portal to education. Like when we go to the farm, you get to learn more about the soils, you get to learn about weeds, yeah, the unwanted plants that are all over. Also, when you get to read from the holy books, it's through food that you realize some of the important uh, rules, or rather laws of life. Like it's true that uh, whatever you plant is what you shall harvest. So for example, if I plant beans, I don't expect to get maize unless otherwise. So that's a rule. It's a law of life, yeah, of nature. It cannot be changed. We get to learn through food cultivation how there's time and seasons. There's a time to till the land, to sow, a time to harvest, a time to weed, all these things. You get to learn them through food. Also, food can be used as a gateway to education. Think about food scientists and technologists, how they get to produce food and add value to it. If I have paper, okay, I had some pieces here that have gone. How can I make some value out of it? How do I get to add value so that it can earn more money or it can last for long? You see, because most of the foods are seasonal. For example, if you have paper, you can make paper sauce. You have your tomatoes, make tomato sauce, tomato paste. You have mangoes, make mango juice, mango chutney, many things. Yeah, like there are those people who even tell you, hey, spendi hata malenge, they don't like a certain food, but the moment you boil those pumpkins and you make chapatis using those, they're like, it's the best thing. So you can see how food literally can be used to improve, or rather to contribute to the vast knowledge that is out there and science of food. All right. Yeah, so that's all about food. And food is also a source of wealth. Look, even in the Bible, in most books, when they try to talk about most of the rich people or wealthy people, they usually associate them with the number of animals they had, the corns. Even when you look at people like Isaac, when they were blessing their sons, you see they use literally food to bless them. Yeah, so food can be a source of wealth. You can be wealthy through food production. Like, we imagine, like in Kenya, we have the green gold, the hearts of avocados. You don't have to produce what everyone is producing. Be unique, just find a market and produce. Some have become successful through horticultural farming, others have become successful in their niches through herb farming, strawberries, mushrooms, just providing a solution or a product to what the market demands at a price they are willing to pay. Okay, let me read before I continue. Continue. Thank you. Your skin has many pimples. Hey, first you'll have to seek advice from a dermatologist. Then work on water. Sometimes you'll have to even do some fasting to know where the problem starts. It could be some foods that are triggering you. Yeah. Also, you might need some proper skincare routine like exfoliation. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, as I was saying, food is a source of wealth. So let's embrace the soil. I know most people have migrated from the villages to the cities in search of jobs which are sometimes not there. You tarmac, but we forget that there is gold in soil. We must be willing to make our hands dirty, and that's why I'm intentional even about sharing videos of how you can practice farming even on the little space that is within you. I mean, it's not funny to be buying everything right from kitungu, tomato. These are things that we can literally produce. Even dania, spinach that can grow even on a pipe. Why can't we grow it so that you're even assured of the source? We imagine most people who work at weird hours. By the time you're arriving, maybe the marketplace or the grocery woman has closed. So you're literally feeding on fast foods which are not nourishing you. They don't have any life force. But if you had grown something, you just go and pick, yeah, from your farm. So let's start changing our narrative concerning food. So food can be a source of um, wealth. Even as long as you're just in the food chain, even if you open a kibanda just to sell items, you're good. Yeah, many people have literally gone to school, paid fees using kibanda money, just farming even veggies. So what are we waiting for? We have a lot of land, but you find we, like in Nigeria, they call it japa, the act of migrating to other countries in search of greener pastures. But we forget that the greener pastures, or rather, the grass is greener where it is watered. So even here, wherever you are, as long as you keep watering, you'll find your grass will be greener. Sometimes whatever you see as green could be fake. It could be just a green carpet. So let's learn to see opportunities around us and capitalize on that. So as we continue about food, I wanted to say that foods can also get to evoke emotions. Sorry. So we have a lot of foods that evoke emotions, like it could be good or bad. Maybe you're taking some lemon, and you're like, huh? There are foods like a pineapple you take and it's so delicious. So, yeah. Also, there are foods that are gastronomical. Okay, aphrodisiacs, the ones that promote even okay, sensual stuff. You get wet, nini. So things like okra, they are really good. Yeah. So let's learn to embrace these things. And I believe everyone, I was doing search on what most people consider to be essential food, a sexy food. Some people even mentioned avocado, chocolate, yogurt, cheese, dates, honey, chocolate, figs, Some it could be literally guavas, as weird as it sounds. Kebab, like for me, I swear by kashata. Yeah, Swiss rolls, mm, mangoes, lychees, marshmallows, oyster, ooh, pears, papaya. I also love papaya. Raspberries. Oh, my son loves this. Strawberries, sushi, squash. Eh, tami napenda squash. Hizo the butternuts. Then lemon. Also sugarcane, like literally, it's so nice. So we have all these foods that get to evoke our emotions. Again, another thing about food is that it can be used to soften hearts. They say that food is the gateway to a man's heart, and not only men, even women. You know, like there's a song in Kisi, they sing that akangaina mandas, akangaina mandas. He used mandazi to lie to you. So in short, they're talking about these people, how food can be used to even make you open the servers down there, if that makes sense. So, and that's why we need to be careful. There's no such a thing as free lunch. Mm-hmm. We are so naive sometimes to think you're so bright, eh? And I believe this is one of the reasons when you look at School of Elegancies, even on online schools that teach about etiquette, they're like, eat at home before you even go to the feast or that date, because some of the people have sold their lives and souls just because of food. You know, you eat and eat and eat and eat until you forget what brought you there. And most people, they take advantage of your favorite food because it will arouse the dopamine hormone. Let's say you love pizza, so they buy you that pizza and maybe some wine. You get intoxicated in the process, and you unaanza kuropoka, you soften your heart, and you find sharing secrets. And not bad secrets. Sometimes, even at the workplace, and don't eat even at a boss place, office. You'll find umesema, eh? You'll be asked this because you've already eaten. It becomes impossible to keep quiet. Eh? They say, whoever feeds you has control over you. So be careful. So some people you find maybe chips kuku, nataka nini, ugali samaki. You eat, you eat, you eat to your best. But no, it has a price tag. It has a price tag. So yeah, be alert. So food can be used as a gateway to what? Your body. Yeah. And that is good or bad depending on the situation. Able look at people like Queen Esther. They used food. They invited the she invited the king for a feast, and in the process, the king was like pleased with her, and she is like, ask from me anything, even if it's half of my empire. How many times? Around 3 times. The king said those same words, and finally, that's how Esther was able to save her people. You see, wise people use brain. You can even use something as food. And I remember this was also used during a time we were vying for politics at my school. So, being I was vying for female congress person in the School of Education and Lifelong Learning. So it's after you have passed maybe as a congress person or a delegate that you are to go and vote in for the new council, like not council, coalition. Yeah, that is there. So the president, deputy, the secretary, treasurer, nini. So being a competitive race, sometimes this individuals had to use, you had to be innovative. Even us, as we were seeking for those votes, sometimes you will have to part with something sweet. Wanasema mkono mtupu wa urambwe. So you would have to part with something, ngumus, milk, sodas. So as I was saying, you'll find most of these members, they have to be creative, they don't know who's going to win. So they could use something as small as a cookie, they call you, can we come and have a meeting? So in the process of talking, someone gets to share a cookie, and it will soften your heart. Even if you are that tough, you'll be like, among these people who have approached me, who was the most generous? That's how human beings reason. You'll be like, at least I would rather vote for this person, because at least if they can take care of even gastronomical desires, then I believe they're the best people suited to even rule the university. They are generous enough. They understand the basic needs. Yeah. So that brings me to another point, that food can be used as a means of initiating a conversation. There's this video I was watching on dating diaries by Ruth Kerry. Yeah, Kerry Kagiri. So, yeah, so my namesake had a guest, and the guest was like how she got to get the pastor for her husband. So the man was taking some, was it PK? Yeah, and he never shared with her. So she was really furious. But I'm assuming that if that man had maybe, just share, even if it's a biscuit, just a sweet, people are like, thank you. And in the process, you're like, hey, by the way, what's your name? And you start conversations, and some lead somewhere, to the altar, to the bank, to new opportunities. You see, food is a gateway to many, many things. It's also a means of getting those deals. Yeah. Sometimes when someone, especially the rich, want to have some information, strategies, or they're doing business feasibility, they get to look for the best among the best, and they're like, we shall talk this over a meal. So in the process, maybe you just go and you're sharing a meal, and you'll be asked, so what do you do? And you say, what are your thoughts on this? People get to pick your mind over a meal, and it could be good or bad. Sometimes it could open opportunities for you, but for some people, they're indeed selfish. After they have picked your mind on the best ideas, you'll see those ideas working for them years down the line, and they'll not even acknowledge that you are the source of that idea, and they'll not even call you for a party to celebrate that idea that it has come to life. That's how cruel the world is. So whatever you do, also make sure that you're not taken away by food. So that's all about the positive things that food can do. We just want to discuss how food is a portal to negative things. Yeah. So, like in most religions, you'll find that food was used maybe to pour libation. There was that offering of sacrifices. So even before you start eating, you need to ask yourself, especially when you're called for these goat eating events, you need to ask why the animal died. Inki yakwera, mbona huyu mnyama amekufa? Because it's not usually normal, especially in the pastoralist communities where they value the animals. So you need to ask why. Perhaps you're eating foods meant for the gods, with a G or with a small g. Yeah, so you need to ask those questions. Another thing, is that food can be used as a gateway to your security. Yeah, we know of many people who have been um, killed because of food. Yeah, you find maybe, especially if you have this kind of special diet, I don't do this, I don't do this. People get to know about it, and you're likely to be a target. And that's why I think most leaders don't eat ovyo ovyo. Sizoe kukula ovyo ovyo. That's why even our parents used to tell us, don't eat anyhowly. You know, and it's for obvious reasons. Not only that fact that you could be poisoned, it's also from the fact that perhaps this person has trained to get that meal and it's all that they had. Some people idolize food so much and they'll be like not be happy about it. So we need uh, to know our boundaries with food. Yes. So uh, about food can be used as a gateway to your security. You can be 6 feet under because of food. Yeah, you start vomiting, and you cannot be saved. So know where you eat. Where you eat. Also, we have people who take advantage of that, especially when you go to these parties. You are not to leave food or a drink unattended. If you had opened, let's say, your soda, and you maybe had a nature call or someone called and you excuse yourself, don't start from there. There's a possibility you could be adulterated, and it could be someone even within your circle. Treat everyone as a suspect. Don't be too trusting, because wengine hata unawekewa mchele ndani and you become licentious. Yeah, you're just permissive. Yeah. Another thing is that food can be used as a license to many things, like Lot's daughters. When they realized that in the land that they were living in, there were no men to marry them, their father is aging. What they decided to do is that they made their father drunk. How many times? Twice. The first day, they made the father drunk with wine, and that's how the first daughter slept with the dad. Second day, same thing, and they got children Moab and Ammon. So you can see how alcohol food can be used against you, yeah, against your will, because it is indicated that the father never knew when that thing happened. Someone like no, who was the first man to plant a vineyard. It's after he had drunk wine that he removed his clothes and went to his house and slept. Then we see Ham just going to the house and he saw his father's nakedness, and that led to him getting a curse. So you can see how food can really make people drunk and they just pour your okay, and it leads to things that are not healthy in terms of the outcomes. The outcomes are not really nice. Another example is about Herod and Herodias. So King Herod, had married his brother's wife, Herodias. So the brother was Philip. Yeah, so it happened that when John the Baptist had confronted um, them about the adultery, which was not a good thing, we realized that Herodias held a grudge, and when an opportunity came during the king's birthday, she made sure that her daughter also went in and danced. You know, when you're in that drunken state, you become licentious, like I've already said earlier on. And he asked the daughter through Herodias, what do you want? Even if it's half of my empire. So the girl went and consulted with the mom, and guess what? The mom asked for John the Baptist's head. So some of these feasts end up to be diabolical. You could be thinking it's a good thing, but you find people getting to even ask for your head, literally and whatever, metaphorically, it happens. There's also a place where it is recorded that there was a king of Syria who was passing through the streets. Then there was a woman, because it was a time of famine, and she was like, help, help me. When she was asked what her trouble was, she was like, this woman asked me to kill my son so that we could eat him. Then after we could eat her sons tomorrow. Able imagine how bad that hunger was, to the extent of feeding on your own child. So the world is really rotten. Some don't even fear sacrificing their own children just because you're hungry and you just decide to use food. And I think this is the reason as to why Jesus, Isa, decided to even tell Satan who was using food, and he told him that man shall not live on bread alone, but through the word of God, right? So you see, food can be used to tempt you. It can be used to sell your soul. Yeah. Okay. So we need to be alert on that. I think that's all that we needed to know for today. So let's learn to use food for good reasons that serve us, best reasons that serve us. Yeah, like for connections, you want that human connection, you want that nourishment. I believe everyone has a soul food. It could be even that uh, what do we call it, potluck. Maybe it's just chicken, boiled chicken with some corn, potatoes there, some spinach, cooked together. Whatever you feel nourishes your body and you feel better, you can use it. Maybe it's for those social functions. Food is also offered, like social lunches, and it's not bad. Sometimes you're genuinely hungry, so yeah, eat. Like in campus, there was a time you'll find people literally, you're calling them for a meeting, and maybe these clubs, and you just have to say there are refreshments for people to be there, for you to get the audience. People are just even attracted by food. Yeah, so where there's food, obviously you expect to find a crowd. It's just that you need to be aware of your environment so that you don't get intoxicated along the process, or yeah, that kind of things. And another thing that I learned is, let's learn to give grace before the food is offered. Food as a basic need, not everyone is able to afford, so it's good for us to even use meal times as a means of showing gratitude, for the little or the more that is on the table. Yeah, so we get to appreciate, we get to share with those who are within our gates. Yeah. And thereafter you get to soften people's hearts, you get to find favor, like someone like Abigail. So when King David had ordered for just food for sustenance to Nabal, he had refused, and he was like, the meat I've slaughtered is only for my sharing team. And David was like, so after all this work of even protecting your your property in the wilderness, this is all you repay for. So sometimes it's good that we repay the good that people do to us. in whatever manner, including food. So you see, Abigail, what did she collect? She took 2 leather bags full of wine, 200 loaves of bread, 5 roasted sheep, 17 kilograms of roasted grain, 100 bunches of raisins, and 200 cakes of dried figs, and loaded them on donkeys. And that's how she was able to find favor. You see, even people like uh, Jacob's sons, yeah, like they were given some tokens of appreciation to take to the governor Joseph, not knowing that that was their brother. So you can see people can get to use food to literally appease. Hata wakati unaenda kuomba deni you'll find in most homesteads, you're hosted before you state your mission for coming. Even if you had that you wanted to bring fury, you are angered after eating, you just often you'll be like, I just wanted to ask for my money. If you have it, you can send it. um, you know Somehow it tends to soften hearts, so you can see how you can use that to your advantage. Okay, yeah. Another thing, continue. I think that is it. Okay. um, okay, so that is the end of our live today, unless you have questions. So we have seen how food is really a portal or a gateway to many things, including communications, culture, history, cherished moments, yeah. Even just cooking some food, it's a labor of love, so it can be used to show love. Yeah. It can be used for memories, for education, for sustenance, nourishment, wealth, for socialization. Like, you can also make wealth by making cookbooks and such kind of things, by using uh, knowledge from food. Even just doing a research on it and publishing it, you can be able to create some molars from it. Also, food can be used for posterity. That's something that I forgot. How could I? So, food can be used uh, as a cultural heritage, and that's why some of the manna that was offered as foods to the Israelites as they were going to the promised land, some manna was kept for posterity. And we realize some of these things get to disappear over time, so it's good that we keep them so that future generation can also get to benefit from knowing about the various foods. So we should make a habit of even going to museums and learning more about the various foods that were there. Yeah. So food can be used for that. It can also be used for motivation, especially at the workplace. People who are fed tend to work better. So let's strive to ensure that our employees are fed properly. Um, I'm reminded of someone like Nehemiah. As he was presenting wine to the king realized that he was uh, sad, and because of that sad countenance, the king gets to ask him what the matter was with him, because he had never seen him. So that's sad, you understand? So I'm trying to say that how we prepare that food, because I've said food is energy, have high vibrations, be singing at least a song, be happy, be cheerful. Yeah, even as you're presenting that food maybe to your meant to your family members. Be happy, so that even in the days that you are not happy, they will be able to realize, because maybe you're not behaving normally. So food is a way of just getting to connect. Okay, so let's be cheerful while cooking. Food is energy. Whatever you put your hands onto, so that it could be blessed, ensure that you do your level best. Also, it's a means of getting energy, even for sustenance, like I already said, to keep you pushing ahead. Okay, and in some cases, that's why you have to abstain from food, restrain from food, especially when you want spiritual breakthrough, because food can be a distraction. you know Maybe imagine, maybe you have eaten something that is really heavy, like protein rich, and you're not able to digest it. You will literally have discomfort, that you'll not have sufficient time that you wanted to have that communion with your God. You'll not have that peace to maybe pray, meditate. So it's good that, if possible, you get to even do fasts, fruit fast, water fast, dry fast, for detoxification, for spiritual reasons, yeah, for weight loss, yeah. Oh, and I also forgot something. Food can be used as a gateway to diseases. Yeah, you heard me right. The same way it can be used as a gateway to health is the same way whatever you ingest can be used uh, to have a gateway to your system, so that you have the infirmities. Abu, imagine someone maybe feeding on inflammatory foods. The next minute, maybe they become obese, and they become vulnerable to diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, name them. So it's good for us to take care of what we feed ourselves. May it be nourishing, may it give us good health. Okay, yeah, you have to be intentional about it. In as much as we have a choice, you have to. Others, we use food as a means of releasing pain, and I don't know, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a good thing for a short while. um Maybe you're stress eating. I'm one of those members who stress eat. So when I'm stressed, I'll be so fat, and people will be thinking it's when I'm okay, but that's the time I have a problem. So as I was saying, food can be used as a gateway to infirmities and health problems. So you find some people, it's at that time, maybe you have overeaten, you have become obese. It gets to destroy your self-esteem, because the people who out here who are used to body shaming, they'll be like, you're plump, you're fat. So you are likely in such a case to have a low self-esteem, and that will lead you to have a bad relationship with food. For example, engaging in bulimia, anorexia, you see those things. But when you cultivate a good relationship with food, you get to enjoy it. Just slow, even in mastication, you chew properly before you ingest. That food can also be used for aromatherapy to heal you. If we imagine things like vanilla, mm, they smell so sweet, and they are able to heal us. So I think I've talked a lot, but I want to end it here by saying that food is a portal. Use it for your own good. Use it for the right reasons, and be aware of the enemy. Okay, until next time, bye. It's already 11:17 Kenyan time. Okay, bye 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 guys. Thank you for joining me.